It's Honest Dreyer and welcome to another Wealth Insights. You know what fascinates me about the human mind is the limitations that we put on ourselves. Last week I made a Wealth Insights and I showed you the difference in terms of potential, and I used an example of two palm trees. We're exactly the same age and the one was about a lot bigger at least than the other one. You know, but then you receive emails and people say, it cannot be done. You can't start a business with no money. You have to go to the bank. You have to go and get venture capital or get the capital from somewhere, your friends, or draw in partners and stuff like that. And when I see this, I think, flip. What can I do to let people understand that you really and truly can start a business with no money? Now, I'm going to have a webinar and on a regular basis where I basically teach people how to start a business with nothing. And I'm going to have a workshop, and there will be several workshops where I'm going to teach people literally how the formula works and how they can use this formula to start businesses, and I mean multi-million rand businesses with no money. But yet they don't believe it, you know? So the problem that I see is we limit ourselves. In this Wealth Insights, what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you two very practical examples so that you can see how quickly you can take an idea or concept and then simply by applying a formula, you know what, I'm going to make it so practical that you'll be able to see it immediately. But I know what's going to happen. Because it's a specific one or two examples that I'm going to give you, you're going to say, but I haven't got plans, or I haven't got this, or I'm in a different industry. I promise you, if you attend that workshop, the one-day workshop, that I will prove to you that by following the formula the way that I'm going to explain it to you, that there's not a single industry in the world, or I don't think, or I can't think of any industry where it's not going to work and where you do not have to have a lot of capital, or any capital sometimes. If you use the Zagat technique that I'll explain there, you'll find out that you'll never ever need capital. You know, I've bought property, I've bought farms, I started businesses in a liquor store and a cement truck, and you can name it up. I've started it without the need to go to the bank or without the need to basically take any capital. In order to start this whole thing. But the formula plays a role, and the formula says your intent equals your focus, and in short, it means the moment that you do something additional in order to start a business, that money is not yours anymore, and you should use that money and plow it back into the business. We call it stepping up or rolling in, the rolling in strategy, and then start growing that. Okay, so let me give you a very simple example. If you look at the formula, you're going to find that you need to have a surplus. Now, the nice thing about a surplus or a wealth creator knows how to create, preserve, and enjoy their wealth. Very simple. So there are only two ways to create wealth. The one is to start with a business. That's a way to create wealth, and you can do it literally, well, overnight. The second way to do it is to invest, and that's going to take a little bit longer. And the growth that you're going to get on your investment, that is basically how you're going to create it. But you have to take tax into consideration, you have to take inflation into consideration. So it's a longer term, a lot more stable, a lot less risky, but it takes time. And most of the people want it, and they want it now. So at 10, one of the things that I did was I used my skill set, or a skill set that I had at that stage. I knew that I could mow a lawn. And then I saw an opportunity, an incredible opportunity. And I wanted to start a business. But there's no ways that a child of 10 years can go to the bank and say, listen, I want money. Now, luckily I didn't need a lot of money. And then I had a plan. And the plan was basically to use my skill, mowing of lawns, in order to get the cash. And then I used the cash to start the business. Can you see where we're going? So I put in the time and the effort. I had the right mindset. Because without the right mindset, I would never start it or even thought about this. And then I use a skill, I convert the skill through the right mindsets and the spending of time and effort into money. So I use the money then to basically go and buy the stock. So it's so simple. And a lot of people, they can't get it. And I think that is why it's so important that if you can't get it, then at least attend the workshop. So that you can see how simple this process really and truly is, and truly to understand the formula. But there's another way to do it. And behind me, there's a garden. And I like to show you and quickly take you to the garden and then to the palm trees. But on the way, I want to stop at the specific plant that I've got. And it's a cycad, it's a revolita. So it's not a very expensive plant, but I think there's a lesson in it for us if we want to understand and are open to how we start a business for free. So if you're ready, let's go and have a look first to the revolita, and then I'm going to give you a little story about that, and then to the palms, and I'm going to make you a proposition that you simply cannot refuse. But unfortunately, only one person will be able to do it. So I hope that you really and truly look at this and that you can see the opportunity, because I'm going to spell it out completely to you and then decide if this is an opportunity for you. But what I want you to do is to look really at the principle and see, isn't there a way that I can use this principle to get the money in order to start the business without costing me a cent? So let's quickly go and have a look at that revolita plant. Okay, so this is the revolita female that I was talking about. Now, I've got several of these, and this plant was here when I bought the property many, many years ago. But if you really look at this plant, if I can show it to you, you're going to find that in this plant is about 400 to 500 seeds. Right. Now, that represents money to me. So if I take those plants when they're ready, those seeds, and I go and plant them, and I do what I have to do. In other words, I take the responsibility, I look after them. Over a period of time, maybe a year, maybe 3 years' time, I will have small cycad plants, revolitas. And then I can go and I can sell them. Now, how much did that cost me? It cost me nothing. Let me go and show you where I planted about 1,000 directly into the land. Follow me. Radio. So, about 3 years ago, I planted like 1,000 of those seeds here in the ground. So this plant is about 2 to 3 years old. And if I look at this plant, and we say this is a typical plant, then cycads, this is actually a very, very inexpensive cycad, and it sells for about 20, I would say between 20 to 30 rand in a nursery per centimeter. So this is about a 5-6 centimeter plant. So at 10 rand, which is half the price, or even less than half the price, you're going to find that this plant is 50 rand. So if there's 1,000 of them, it means I've got 50,000 rand. For a 2 year, make it a 3-year investment. That cost me zipper, nothing. So all I have now to do, if I want to start a business, and I allocate this towards that business specifically, then I can start a business where I can literally take 50,000 rand, buy some stock, and start trading, if that is what I want. But as a wealth creator, I know that I don't need this kind of money to start a business, because there's even a better way. But now I need to have a little bit more skills in order to do that. And I want to go and show you something, plus I want to give someone the opportunity. Maybe they can use it, and maybe they can start a business, and maybe they can get off the ground, and hopefully they'll come back to me and say, Flip, Hannes, thank you for giving me this chance. So let me go and show you something else. Follow me. Right, we're at the palms, and there may be a great proposition for one of you, but let me tell you a quick story. A couple of years ago, one of my friends came to me and he said to me, he's got a land full of cycads that he wants to sell. I looked at the cycads, made the valuation of the cycads, and it was an incredible deal for me. And he really and truly wanted to get rid of them because he was selling his property, and the new owner didn't want to take over the cycads. So I said to him, I'll come back to him to give me a day or two. I phoned a couple of my other friends, told them that I've got cycads and the size of the cycads, And one of them came and he said, okay, he'll take everything that I've got. So I sold the cycads before I actually bought them. I went back to the seller with the money, gave him his money, and then basically took more or less half the cycads, which I then gave to the new buyer. He had a great deal, I had a great deal, but the end of the story is that I sat with a hell of a lot of cycads that I literally got for free. So if I've sold those cycads then, it simply means that I could take that money and start another business, as an example. Or I could use that as a business. In fact, that I see as part of the business. Now, as you can see, I've got I don't know, between 5,000 to 8,000 palm trees behind me. And I really do not have the space for them. And they're going to stand here and they will not grow. They will not get to their full potential. So I decided one of the ways to start a business is to take the money and see if we can grow that money in another way, shape or form to give us a better return than what these palms would give us. So I'd like to make an offer to someone, and I'm sure that someone in the database may see it as a proposition. Make me an offer for between 5,000 to 8,000 palm trees. If it's a reasonable offer, I'll let you have it. I don't know what you want to pay for them, but the first person that makes me a decent offer can have them. And maybe you can use exactly the same principle. Maybe you've got a nursery, maybe you know of people that wants to buy a lot of palms, and maybe you can make a killing in one simple transaction. With a killing I don't mean millions, but I mean a couple of thousand, if not tens of thousands of rand. So that is a proposition. So what I'm going to do is just below this video, I'm going to give you 3 links. The first link will be if you want to make an offer on these palm trees. The second one will be to attend a webinar. The webinar will be for free if you follow that specific link. Otherwise, there may be a price to it. And the third one is if you want to join the workshops that we've got. Now, in terms of the webinar, what I'm going to do, I'm going to tell you how I've started my first business or my first investment at the age of 8. And got 1,000% on it. I'm also going to explain the formula for financial freedom, and I'm also going to show you how I started my first business by applying that same formula. In other words, it is actually very, very simple, but very few people actually get it because we try to make things complicated. So the workshop is where I'm going to actually take you by the hand and show you that in almost, well, I think in 99.9% of the industries, I'll be able to start a business, any kind of business, in any industry, and start it literally without having to go and borrow money from someone else. So I'll start that business for free. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to apply the formula in a definite specific strategy, attach that to that formula, and how you can start a business or businesses for free. So you don't need the money. Now, here's the thing. The moment that that business starts making money, it starts generating a profit, then what do you do with that profit? And then the second part of the day I will spend in terms of the profit drivers. In other words, once you start making the profits, how do you drive the 7 profit drivers in order to take you through the different levels? So just below this video, you will find, first of all, if you are interested in purchasing these palms, give me your detail. I'll come back to you if it's a reasonable offer. The second thing is there will be a link for a webinar. Book your seat. It will be fun and it will be very, very practical. And the third thing, if you think that you are interested, simply book for a workshop. We call it How to Start a Business and Turbo Boost Your Profit. It's going to be a day workshop. It's going to be fun. You're going to learn a lot. There's 100% money back guarantee. So I'll see you in the next Wealth Insights. See you.